Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, whenever and however you may be watching, whether you're watching over in Brazil or you're watching here in Wisconsin. Thank you for watching. It is interesting when I look at my analytics here on YouTube side of things. I see the different countries, but it'll also now being audio version over on, excuse me, on Spotify. Seeing Berlin, Georgia is a state, not the country, but different areas. So I thank all that are watching. And all that. So I certainly look forward to just talk ball today. We're going to be predicting what is the Super Bowl: San Francisco 49ers versus the Kansas City Chiefs, the reigning, defending, undisputed, non-WWE World Heavyweight Champions, but the NFL Heavyweight Champions.
That's right.
The Kansas City Chiefs actually in this game to defend said title. So they are still AFC champions. But yeah, let's welcome Philip here representing the Kansas City Chiefs. How are you doing this evening, sir?
I am great, man. I am great, bro. Thank you for having me back, bro. And man, all I gotta ask is, how about those Chiefs? I mean, bro, I just said it, man. When you asked me the question, what was the mood here in Casey before we went to Baltimore? It was calm, bro. Like I told you, man.
Right.
We just went in there. We just got the job done. And like I said before, bro, again, I apologize. Like when you was on our PSF show when I went off about your score prediction about the Dolphins and Chiefs. Like I said,
it was
like if it was 15-10 Dolphins and Chiefs 10, that would have been more realistic score. But I was just going off of the fact, like, bro, you haven't played this offense, especially in this weather. Bro, me and my cousin, we've been in this weather for all of our lives for 32 years and used to that weather, just like you guys are used to the frozen tundra.
In Wisconsin,
like,
yeah.
Right. So it's the same thing here. Like, guys moved into Miami, right? But other than that,
don't worry. After the fact, I knew. It's like what is that, a GIF or whatever? Like when he knew when he messed up, sort of thing. That was me after the episode.
Oh man, but no, I wanted to talk to you about something real quick. I know this is not dealing with NFL, but dude, have you been seeing Drew McIntyre all day? I'm like, I love seeing Pump, but dang, bro, he been trolling
Drew McIntyre's on something, that's for sure.
Oh my gosh, Triple H is somewhere grinning hard about this. Like, I like this dude, man. So. But other than that, man, it's great over here, man. We went into the bank. We defended the crown, back-to-back AFC champions, and now we're looking forward to go back-to-back world champs, baby. So
I know, and you had that pregame stuff with the kicker, Tucker, and Pat Mahomes having whatever that BS was. And I mean on both sides, for the Ravens and the Chiefs, was a weird.
That was weird, right? That was like, it's like with Justin Tucker, like, of all the people, I was like, when I heard it, my wife was like, I think it was with the kicker. And I was like, no. And then she was right. And I was like, what? The kicker?
I know, right? Yeah. Justin Tucker.
Justin Tucker's a bad man.
He is. I mean, he's one of the best kickers in NFL history, like, no doubt. Oh, yeah. I'm going to just tell you what that was about. I think Tucker and the Ravens, including their fans, as you guys saw previously this past week, they were trying to get in our heads. And it's like, that's the wrong move. You want to get there because you're going to step on the lion's tail. When you step on the lion's tail, you're not going to like the reaction. And Kelsey going in there, and it's like, dude, like, it's like Pat was like, I know where I go to where I'm supposed to work out. I go to this end of the end zone every time. And it was almost like Justin was like, let me try to invade Pat's privacy. And it's like, okay, man, you trying to pull that.
It was like Gardner Johnson with the L, just waking the bear with the 49ers. Now it took luck and momentum as well.
Oh yeah,
that obviously picked them up.
Yeah, when he did the
I was like, dude, no. I was rooting for the Lions too. Even though I'm a Packers fan, I was like, come on, man. Are you kidding me?
No, they're dumb.
But it felt like the same thing. The Ravens were. That was the dumbest way to do that because the Chiefs through the kitchen sink came out and. What really impressed me was even though Baltimore adjusted at halftime and slowed down the Chiefs' offense,
right?
Just the fact that Lamar had no answer and Harbaugh and the OC had no answer. They stopped running the ball. We were talking about this on my other show, Blitz, last night. Dude, Lamar led them in carries. They had 8 other carries, and 2 of them were by the receiver. They could have run the ball and stayed in the game.
Because Lamar was
I could have imagined that better, man. That was terrible.
he was trying to do too much. Like you talk about Josh Allen, and I hate to say this, man. And I still think Lamar is better than Josh Allen, but Josh Allen looked better than Lamar.
That's a good debate. I like that.
Throughout this whole entire,
it could be a whole episode. Yeah,
like
I could do an episode on that.
Say that, right? And Lamar was trying to do too much. And the things I even said on the show, remember, Stevie, I said it too. Mm-hmm. They got to keep him inside the pocket. They were doing that, and every time he was trying to find an opening on the inside or try to go outside, he knew he couldn't do that, and it was just amazing. Spags did a great job. And the fact is this, if you listen to DVOA, that website, the analytic website, they said that this year's Ravens 2023 and the 2007 Patriots were two of the greatest teams in NFL history that never won a Super Bowl. And they've all been defeated all by Steve Spagnuolo. And that you can just straight up say Steve Spags is the greatest defensive coordinator in NFL history. And the fact that he is now has more Super Bowl appearances than tied with Dick LeBeau, one more next season, that should certify him as the greatest defensive coordinator in NFL history. Because, I mean, come on, man. You defeated arguably one of the greatest two of the greatest teams in NFL history.
And don't you think that Lamar Jackson, like, this might be the ceiling? Because coming back, I could debate with you on Allen. They were both in my top 5 quarterbacks. We did a ranking last night. I think Allen, I mean, he makes more mistakes than Lamar. Mm-hmm. Even though Lamar's turnovers in this game were backbreaking. But this feels like the ceiling for Lamar. Like, I feel like they could go get another good receiver like Flowers. And you've got CJ Stroud coming up. You've got, I don't believe in Miami, but you're going to have Buffalo reloading. You're going to have KC in the way. And you're going to have other teams coming up in the AFC. Like, I just think the window was, right now, this was a golden opportunity. They blew this. Like, Detroit blew a golden opportunity too. We're going to get into that. But, man, Baltimore blew this one. You're not going to be at home against KC again. How many times in Lamar's career? Like, he might get one at some point, but this is going to be one that haunts him.
Right.
This was it. They're not going to get Beckham back. Not that he was amazing, but they're not going to be able to re-sign him.
No, OBJ.
Like, Andrews is getting older. I know he came back in that game. They got Likely. I like that. They need to go out. I know people are all on the Gus Edwards and Justice Hill thing, but Dobbins can't stay healthy. They need to get him a real running back. That'd be interesting. Can you imagine the Ravens with like Saquon Barkley or something in free agency? Or there's no running backs in this draft, I think, that are going to be that dude, but there's always a guy that comes out. So that's what I would do. Like, I mean, you could get Lamar all the weapons in the world. I think, I don't know, man. I just don't know if he reminds me of Dak, but he also, this performance reminds me of, their playoff records are so similar. And this so reminds me of Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago, because I watch all Packers every time. But this reminds me of Aaron Rodgers against San Fran, his last playoff game. He threw a 10 at home, goose egg. All they needed was a decent Rodgers game. And this one, 10 points, goose egg. All they needed was a decent Lamar game or a decent run game to stay in there. And it was coaching Lamar. Coaching won this one, man. Coaching matters in the playoffs. Coaching won this. I'm impressed with Baltimore's DC. You're muted, Philip.
Yeah, man.
The Baltimore DC rebounded in the second half, but still, coaching won it.
Right. Spags dominated him. Spags outcoached Harbaugh. Andy Reid outcoached Harbaugh. I mean, when you just look at it, bro, like, the offensive coordinator, just like my cousin Devontae said, man, he's the real responsibility why they lost, man. No adjustments made, especially to help put Lamar in those positions like you did for Stetson Bennett at Georgia over those last 2 years, going back to back with those national championships. And it's like, y'all thought y'all was really going to pull that Georgia stuff on the Chiefs, just like the Eagles drafting out those Georgia players, thinking, that's already like what the Chiefs did with those rookies last year. And guess what? We still finished top 10 with the teams playing the most rookies than any team. But we're like 9th and 10th in that record. And it's like,
yeah, the Lions this year reminded me of the Chiefs last year, where all those rookies they drafted were one of the reasons y'all won the Super Bowl last year, because Philly played a hell of a game. And that was a hell of a Super Bowl. And that was the difference maker. That's what made the Lions good this year. They hit on Branch, they hit on Gibbs, they hit on Laporta, and they hit on I'm drawing a blank. Who's the other one? They had another. Oh no, not Campbell. But they have a young roster. But those 4 rookies were difference makers. Packers actually, that's one of the reasons they were good too. You got to hit in the draft, and you got to hit on them when they're cheap, and that makes such a difference. That's why the 49ers are able to do this with Purdy on that cheap deal. But the Chiefs keep doing this, and I've got a Raiders fan on my show on Blitz last night, and I was like, dude, you got to watch out because now Mahomes got a D. If they go get him another receiver, they're going to win another Super Bowl. Next year.
You talk about Raiders fan. Hey, y'all, I want
to. Hey, you know what? I think they made the right call with Pierce. I like the Pierce hiring, though. That was legit.
Yeah.
He did good.
This is my cousin right here, Devontae Austin. We're here in Lawrence, Kansas. This is the greatest running back in Lawrence high school history, bro, and he knows knowledge about the game. He even told me before we played the Ravens, he's like, bro, y'all got this, man. And he don't even like the Chiefs, but I secretly call him a admit it, bro. But once you brought the Raiders, I said, oh, shit, come on, Tay, come on, bro. So
I was worried. I was more worried for the Chiefs against the Bills because I thought Buffalo would figure out a way to pull that out. And that
was the one that was more.
That one was tough.
If the Bills can't beat the Chiefs at home, when will they ever in the playoffs?
If Allen can't do it, then Jackson can't do it. The only guy that can go toe for toe with Mahomes that we've seen in the AFC is Burrow. That's it.
You know, but you know the saddest part, as us as Packer fans, Isaac, is the only one that might be able to take down Mahomes and the Chiefs is former Packer Aaron Rodgers.
And we still have yet to play Aaron Rodgers, bro. Which is
true. I think we've got to find, and I think the Packers are going to be in good shape with Love. I'm impressed. I think they could be really good next year.
Oh, bro.
So I like what they're doing.
I told Stevie right after you guys lost that game against the 49ers, like, hey, with that interception that Love threw, I know he's in the lab right now. It's like, I'm going to not make that mistake again. And I think that's going to lead y'all back to the NFC Championship. Hopefully y'all get to the Super Bowl next year. I really see it because you guys.
I think next year, that's in Detroit. That's going to be fun, right?
That would be crazy.
In Detroit.
Hey, bro.
I was wondering.
So that could be
Raiders and
AFC
Championship game.
Yeah.
That'd be crazy, too, man.
We want to talk about poetic justice for the Lions. They didn't make it this year because of reasons and Dan Campbell, but they make it next year when it's in their home.
You know, if Campbell can learn from it, it's kind of like Love. If Campbell can learn from his mistakes, and I love him. He's one of my favorite coaches in the NFL. But he gets so into the game and just wants to be so aggressive. And I actually liked him taking that field goal. We had a debate on this last night on Blitz. I don't know if you saw it. It was about 30 minutes in because we did like 30 minutes of Chiefs and then we did 30 minutes of Lions.
Right.
So we did like 30 minutes each game, then we did a bunch of crap last hour. But we had a debate with one of the dudes on there, and me and Pete from Foxboroughs, we were both like, hey, we actually liked Campbell taking that field goal at the end of the first half. And then he made 3 blunders in the second half, not taking both the field goals. And it wasn't just his fault. Like, Reynolds could have caught the ball, but also they could have drew up a play for Gibbs or Laporta or Brown. You know, somebody that can catch. But then at the end, when they were down 10 to take that timeout, the game was already over. But that one really just pissed me off because I was like, dude, they scored a touchdown, but then you had to get the onside kick. You had to stop the bleeding, and I don't think going for it on 4th down because it's such a backbreaker. If you don't get it, you can do it both times. I think one of those times he needed to take points because then that drive would have effectively tied the game, and then it would have been on Purdy to have a game-winning drive with a minute left, which he might have done, but put the pressure on him at least. Purdy showed that first half. He can make mistakes too. He's kind of like the Hulk. He takes a while to wake up. And then he did against the Packers too. First half, nothing. Second half, looking like freaking Patrick Mahomes almost, using his legs. His runs in this game were huge. They were difference-making runs. He took off at the right time, but he started slow. He had a really bad pick, and he almost had a second one.
And that's an interesting comparison. Because
I have a lot to say on this.
No. And then we got Purdy versus Mahomes here. So
this could be fun. This is 2 really, really good teams.
So to ask Philip specifically in regards to representing the Kansas City Chiefs, heading into this game, is it the same relaxed, you're going to take care of business and all that? But what on the 49ers offense or defense worries you that they might be able to have a chance?
I will say this on offense, we definitely got to account for Christian McCaffrey, man. I mean, Debo's really not much of a threat to us, but we definitely need to take account of Brandon Ayuk and George Kittle. But really, the real person we really need to watch out for is Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
I feel like just like what we did with the Ravens, if you mess up the rhythm, just like what I said to you guys and how y'all could have had a chance to beat the 49ers, just watch that Ravens tape, man. You always got to find a weakness everywhere, even though you see their strengths and their weaknesses. But I do say I worry about Christian McCaffrey. And on defense, if there's one player on defense there that I really do fear, now two guys, Nick Bosa and, yeah, as Richard Sherman would say, Nicholas John Bosa and my guy Lil Mooney, Charvarius Ward, who was the best defensive back on that team. The guy went from undrafted to now all-pro corner, which everybody said, no, that should be McDuffie's all-pro, but there's nothing against Mooney, but he really proved himself, man, and I'm proud of him and the hard work he's put in. And as a matter of fact, we follow each other on Snapchat and Instagram, and I've had that relationship with him ever since, I worked with the Chiefs, and he was at the Chiefs, and I was –
You work with the Chiefs?
I used to work with the Chiefs from Mahomes' first year as a starter, 2018, to back in July. My last event was the Taylor Swift concert. I kind of got tired of it, bro. Like, man, this is all these overwhelming fans and everything like that, man. And it was like, I don't want another year of this.
Nice one, man.
Yeah, bro.
That's pretty cool.
Parades and everything else like that. 2-time champ, 3-time AFC champ, and to leave as a defending champ and to see them continue without me, and even still getting congratulatory texts, even as a result of the whole entire situation, man, it's just wild, and it was just awesome. So, yeah, man, just to see Mooney on that opposite side, I think he might kind of give us some trouble. But knowing Spags, knowing his former player, his strengths and his weaknesses, I think we should be okay. But other than that, that's what I would say about the Niners. And there's another thing I got to say about Brock Purdy. I like his composure. I like the way he carries himself, even for a 7th rounder who's still playing big. And I want to say close to Mahomes, there's certain things that certain players will remind you of Mahomes. But when I saw him against the Lions, I saw glimpses of Alex Smith. And I mean Alex after he went to the Chiefs from the 49ers and showed that he became a better player afterwards. And that's what I see from Brock Purdy. And I'm liking it. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I respect that. Certainly something shall be interesting. Go ahead, Isaac.
I like Fred Warner, too. He's really good on defense. I think the 49ers defense and their ability to contain Mahomes is going to be so important because I think the Chiefs D is going to stop the 49ers from exploding. So I think it's really going to come down to the 49ers D if they want to win this game. And I'm just going to be honest. I just want a good game. I'm probably slightly leaning 49ers only because I want to lose to the team that won the Super Bowl. But I really, I don't have a huge skin in the game. I'm just kind of, you're going to get sad here. My wife hates the Chiefs. I'm a little over it. But Mahomes is awesome. It's just been so much this year because of Taylor Swift. So, who I actually love as an artist, but seen so much Chiefs. But this is a huge one for Mahomes and his legacy. And I think the 49ers, who haven't been outstanding on defense recently, they just haven't. I got to look at their DVOA numbers, but they have not been as good in the second half of the season. They've had some strong points. They've got some great players on D. Ward is awesome, but they're thinking about benching Chase Young because he takes plays off. They got Hargrove. They got Greenlaw, who I love. They got Warner, who's one of the best linebackers in the league. And they got, Bosa. So they've got playmakers, but they haven't really been on the Chiefs level on defense. The Chiefs were in a class with, frankly, as good as Cleveland was, they didn't travel as well. It was pretty much them in Baltimore on defense this year. And the 49ers are kind of knots below that. So I think that's the key. Because I'm going to be shocked against this defense if the 49ers put up more than 30. I really am. I don't think they're going to get 24. I think the first one to 25 plus is going to win this game. Right. We'll see. I could be wrong. Could be 35, 31, 38, 35. It happens. 2 weeks off, I just hope we get a good one because I hate when these are blowups. So I just want a good game. And next year I want to see my Packers in it. I think we're 2 years away. I think next year is going to be another step. And the Lions, it's going to be really we asked this on my show. I'm really curious before we get to Packers stuff in a little bit because I know we got about an hour. Where are the Lions going to go from here? Are they going to keep going up? because they got one more year Goff under deal, and then they got to make a decision, and they kind of got to make that decision now. But they got one more year at a reasonable salary. Where are they going? Because they made great draft picks. Are they going to keep ascending, or are they going to dip after this game? Also, I'd ask the same thing for the Ravens after. What do you guys think?
I'll say something first on this one. When Ben Johnson announces that he's coming back, that's all you need to know, that they're going to continue. And I really
do you think that's because he doesn't want to be a head coach, or he just wanted unfinished business with the Lions? What do you think?
I really think that what he saw with this game, he's like, you know what, we need to pick up what we saw this past game, and let's try to get back at it next season too. And I really think that's give Ben an opportunity to finally build on his resume to become a head coach for next year. You know, because for example, Bill Belichick and Vrabel are not going to get picked up this round, which is going to be crazy, man. You know what I mean? And
right,
which is crazy.
And the Packers, who they just took as DC, they're not going to even be. They may not even be. I don't know what all the coordinator positions open around the league, but they may not even be coaching.
Zay Flowers, head coach, gonna be your defensive coordinator.
That's crazy. That's.
I'm just saying, man.
I don't like what the Packers. We're gonna get into it. I don't like what the Packers just did at DC. I'm not a fan. My buddy who was on the show last night he's from Boston. He knows all about this guy, and I'm just not hearing good stuff. So, but I thought the Packers I didn't know if Vrabel would want to, take a demotion to DC. And I knew Belichick, if he didn't, I think for him, we talked about it. I know it's off track what we're just on, but I think Belichick wanted to be GM. And I think he knew he was going to get the money from Kraft anyways if he just interviewed. And I got the Patriots. He's not an insider, but the guy who lives up there, this was his theory. And I kind of think it's spot on, because I think Belichick is going to wait 1 year, and then the Cowboys job might be open, and now Jerry's saying all this crap about it. The Philly job might be open if they blow out again. The Giants job could be open. You could be looking at the entire NFC East, and you could have a pick of the litter, and there could be some other teams. But Belichick or Vrabel might step in and take one of those jobs next year, because I think 2 or 3 of them are going to be open. Because Dallas is going to flame out in the playoffs again. I guarantee it. I live near Dallas. And Philly, I don't know where they're going. Philly, I think is. I'm worried about Philly. They're.
Yep. And before we continue on our conversation, wanted to add on another person here that is my host, or the host of Big Cheese Sports. I am the co-host of, and also he's with me at PSF as we did Packer MediaCaster over there for the 2023 season. Let's welcome in Mr. Bernie Bengo.
Bernie, hey, what's up, fellas?
I like the cheese in the background. Yeah.
Thanks, man. I wasn't supposed to work today, but we had some snow days, so we had a makeup day today, and then the buses were running late. But I am pumped to be here. Thanks for having me, Stephen. Good to see you again.
Are you a teacher too?
Yeah, I'm a school teacher.
Me too. I'm a middle school math teacher.
Nice. I'm a middle school special education teacher, and my focus is emotional behavioral disabilities.
Dude, I do special ed too. I do learning disabilities.
Okay, nice. That's awesome, man.
Oh,
yeah. Nice. I had no idea. Wow, that's cool, man.
See, the world's small.
We're such a small world, man. So just to tell y'all,
wow.
Too, bro. So Isaac, I have a diagnosis of autism. I was diagnosed at age 2, and that's been my motivation to prove that I'm beyond my autism, and I'm able to do this. So now I work and to my people right now at SAC, I work for the Self Advocate Coalition of Kansas as a disability rights activist, or you can call me Self Advocate Trainer. I work with folks with IDD, or as you call it, intellectual developmental disabilities. I help folks that are just like me to help them to empower themselves to have independence and to live their best lives. And we work together to help improve the community, and also try to go to classrooms and teach our philosophy to help other people, to inspire them, show folks who are just like me, who went through the same circumstances. And this is such an honor, man. And we can also talk about the shared things what we like is football too on top of that. So I'm glad what y'all doing, man. Bernie, Isaac, man, keep doing what y'all doing. And
nice, dude.
Yeah,
that's awesome, man. Seriously, that's cool.
Appreciate you, man.
Yes,
I'm
sir.
pretty sure I've not gone and got diagnosed, but I'm pretty sure I have autism as well. So that's awesome, dude. Seriously.
Power, bro.
Yeah.
Terry.
Yeah.
That's my girl from
Oh, I forgot we have
home,
Facebook.
Kansas. Terry Thomas. It's good to see you. Yeah. Chiefs Kingdom, baby, represent. Yes.
Yeah. I see a
I
link
can't
here.
believe we got. I like all the special ed representation we got here. This is legit. Seriously.
Yeah.
Very
Isaac,
cool, guys. Seriously.
Isaac.
I had a diagnosis of ADHD so just like I was in a behavioral program when I was a kid, and now I run a behavioral program. It's bonkers, man. It's wild.
And I have a
That's
feeling
crazy.
I have that. I just haven't been diagnosed in regards to ADHD. I just know I have my life and symptoms beyond battling anxiety every day and all that. But 3 years ago, anxiety ruled my day to day to the point where I couldn't even leave my house. And then I did therapy because I'm one that try to have, whether right or wrong, I try to have the least amount of medication in my body because of science reasons and chemical reasons. So I did therapy and have done for 3 years, and that has helped a lot. Whether it was anxiety of open spaces, anxiety of driving, anxiety, highway driving specifically, and all that other stuff. So on top of anxiety, I do believe I do have, or think I have, whether low grade or whatever it would be called, of ADHD, but never been, tested for it or diagnosed with it. So we as far and away, as whether it's the teachers and are on the other end of it, that connected in that way. So that's very cool. What I was going to ask you, Isaac, was what state, if you want to share, what state do you reside?
Oh, Texas. I live near Dallas, actually, just south of Dallas. I'm not a Cowboys fan. I grew up in Upper Michigan, like 3 hours north and by Marquette, 3 hours north of Green Bay. So and I grew up there until 6th grade, and the Packers thing stuck. And then I lived in Arizona for almost 20 years, and I actually, I think one of the reasons special ed kind of spoke to me, although I'm debating if I want to do gen ed moving forward, because I keep messing with sped teachers here. I don't know if you experienced the same thing.
Same
it's
here,
so
man.
annoying. I just I'm so I love the kids. I'm so over the politics. Like, it's driving me nuts. But
Right.
I wanted to be a history teacher, and I just started working with sped kids, an autistic kid actually, and it just felt right. And I decided to go for special education. And now I do middle school math, 7th and 8th grade. I see kids with emotional disturbances every day, autism every day, other health impairments, specific learning disabilities. I don't deal with the developmental delays too much. We got a whole program for that at our school, like a life skills thing. But I actually love teaching. This has been fun though, because I started it 4 months ago, and since we're talking about some personal stuff, I'm gonna spill. My aunt passed away a couple weeks ago. It'll be 2 weeks in a few hours here, and she was like a mom.
Sorry for your
Yeah,
loss.
it's really rough because she barely got to see the second show get started, but she was. I don't speak with my mom. She was basically my mom, and after my wife, who's awesome, but I'm divorced. My first one wasn't. So I'm happy she got to see me, happy now, and I got to see her at the end of her life, finally living on her own. They weren't living with family. Happy. And I'm just happy she got to see me start podcasting, because honestly, I'm hooked. I'm hoping to make it a side career at some point and just keep doing it. It's a lot of fun. Get a lot of good feedback
too. Yeah, definitely people check
last
them out.
last night was off the chain. But this is cool because I like talking. I didn't realize this was one of the reasons I would like it so much, but being able to speak openly and is really important for me, because I'm pretty sure I do have autism. Like, my wife brought it up. She's like, I think you might have it, dude. And the more I've read about it, I'm like, I think I do. It's high functioning. But just being able to speak clearly and recently be able to speak about my aunt and family stuff has been really therapeutic. And I used to do therapy for a couple of years in the past, and it's helped me get through this a little bit, actually. And this is just a fun outlet. So I appreciate y'all having me on. I didn't, honestly, I only had to check out bits. I had no idea when I came on, so this is really cool surprise. So, yeah. So yeah, no, I live near Texas, so I have to deal with all the Cowboys fans, and it just drives me nuts. So.
Hey, one of my best,
like every year,
best friends
Super
is a
Bowl.
Cowboys fan.
One of my best
Every
friends
year, it's Super Bowl, man. The guy, I hear rumors that another teacher. He's telling me they're going to win the Super Bowl, and then you can imagine my fun after the Packers won. I was living it up. I almost held my cheese head. I was nice and restrained myself, but all the students are Cowboys fans for the most part. So I had a good
on that cheese head, bro.
I should have done it.
You're strutting in the classroom, yeah.
Sorry, I took over for a couple minutes. I'm done. That's just I had
You're
to say
good,
that.
man.
Okay.
I'm happy to learn about you, man.
Yes.
You know, good stuff.
This is fun, dude.
Yeah, Bernie, like I said, he had a show last night, fun football podcast. If I can speak, jeez. But and definitely
last night was When the Blitz Hits the Fan. We started a new one. It's a panel. I have 2 shows. Mm-hmm. We do When the Blitz Hits the Fan, and it's me and a Bears fan, and we brought a Patriots and a Raiders and another Packer fan on last night. And then I have my other show on Football Pod. Yeah. So last night we did Blitz. Steve, what else did you? How far did you get into it?
I got pretty far. I mean, then I just had to get down to other things, and I had to. I had my attention, which was over at PSF, but yeah. But no, it's pretty cool and very. You guys know your stuff in regards to football and your conversation. So just letting people know, whether it's our fellow guests and other people, to check it out when it's live and all that in the future. But
I hope I'll do my plug at the end. I hope everybody can check it out, and hope I can come back on with y'all again, because this was fun.
Yes, indeed.
So hey, have you guys talked about the new DC yet in Green Bay, or?
We were just about to slide right in.
Oh man! All right.
I want to hear your thoughts about that one, Bernie.
Go ahead, Bernie.
All right. Dude's got a world of experience already. At first I was like, we're bringing in a college coach, but he started with like Albany, which is like an FCS school, I think, and then he ended up at the University of Pittsburgh. He spent time at Rutgers, and then he ended up in the NFL, and he bounced around with like the Buccaneers. He spent some time with the 49ers and the Browns, I think. But he was a defensive backs coach in San Francisco, I think, when Richard Sherman was there. And Sherman has had some great things to say about him at that time. Now, he's been running the show at Boston College. He took a middling football program, right? He's been there for 4 years. He got him bowl eligible for 3 of those years. So, he seems like an innovative guy, young guy. I hope that I hope that MLF is bringing him in to run the defense and not to I hope he didn't find a guy that he thinks he can kind of like manipulate or like micromanage, because that's not what I want. MLF's kind of got his fingers in the cookie jar on the offense and the defense. And I think MLF would be a better head coach if he had a DC and OC that would just let them run the offense and defense, and then he's overseeing everything. Rather, I like putting my fingers in the cookie jar too, but MLF needs to, delegate, man. He needs to delegate a few more of those responsibilities. So I'm excited. I had some people saying recently, I got done with work and I saw, I pull up my phone, my phone's blowing up because of that hire when I was at work, and people were like, "Oh, great, a college coach coming to run our defense." I'm like, well, he coached, he's a defensive back coach, in the NFL. And I'm like, what would you rather have? Would you rather have Joe Barry? Would you rather have a guy is trash, or would you rather have a guy that's a question mark? I'm like, I will go with a question mark 10 out of 10 times, let's see what he's got, man.
Roger that.
He was right.
And in 2019, he was the co-defensive coordinator at Ohio State, and he was one of their top recruiters as well. So in my mind is like, the dude can talk the talk. Yeah, he can talk the talk, man. He shows that he can coach defensive backs, right? And that's what we need the most in Green Bay right now, right? We know our front seven has some athletes and some monsters on there. We got a lot of young guys in the secondary. Why not bring in a younger coach who's been at the college level that can talk to those connect with those younger defensive backs. Let's go, man. Like, come on, let's put a little love and faith into this guy. Rather than being down and feeling bummed about it. I don't know, man. I'm an optimist.
I like that.
And he can't be worse than Joe Barry, right? Like, I think you'd have to try to be worse than Joe Barry, but I'm personally excited, man. I'm excited for the guy.
It just bothered me because there's so many other options available. There was Ebro. I like the Panthers dude a lot. And I heard somebody on Twitter saying we could have gone DC or we could have gone college. And I'm like, yeah, we could have gone back to Jim Leonard, but I think MLS was too proud to go back to the guy that spurned him and stayed at Wisconsin. Because I kept hearing rumors about Leonard, and I was down for that if we decided to go the college route instead of NFL. But to be honest, the only thing that scares me is the defense was only 77th last year. It's not an FBS. That's not terrible, but it's hard to evaluate because he had a losing record at BC, but he was a head coach there. I don't know. I'm not hearing great stuff from a few friends, so I'm like, crap. I think Al Harris would have been cool if we were going to do a Packer, but I think that there was other guys in the NFL. I think that would have been not even that were previous head coaches. We didn't even have to go the Vrabel route. That would have been more. I think maybe more what we needed, but I just don't even know enough about the dude to really form an opinion. I'm kind of like, really? But I'm hoping I'm wrong, and I'm hoping that they can get this run D figured out because our pass D was our strength, and I think that he knows pass D. I'm wondering if he knows run D, which is what we needed. That's why I found it curious because I'm like, we hired a DB dude. That wasn't our weakness. Even against 49ers, we did pretty solid. So it's like, can we finally stop the run? Because that's been what's killing us for over a decade. It's been more than just Barry. It was Pettin. It was before that.
Yeah, it's interesting in regards to that, and I know I have a tweet here from Lily in regards to information.
4-3 too.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know if he's going to run that. We're going to see. That's what I heard. I heard he's 4-3, not 3-4. So is he going to change up the run D? Is he going to change up the whole defense? Could be interesting, right?
Yeah, be interesting, bro.
Because do you guys want him to change to a 4-3? Because I kind of am okay with that because then we could put Van Ness or we could keep Preston and put him on the defensive line and still have Van Ness and Gary, and we'd have Kenny Clark on the other side. We just have to get one more defensive tackle in the middle, which is what we need anyways to eat with Slayton. I think it would benefit our defense, and then we can still run nickel on third down. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I think I like where you're going with that, because we got Carl Brooks and Colby Wooden who've shown some plays, so those guys on that front line of that defense look great. I think we have to spend a draft pick on some linebackers, or at least a linebacker, this next draft.
Campbell.
So
we might have to let Campbell go. It might be time.
Yeah,
maybe.
Yeah.
And Steve, I'm sorry, I cut you off. I apologize, man. I was excited. Sorry.
You're good. I was just got a question. I think it's for both you and Stevie, and also for you, Isaac. Okay. Now, with Jerry Alexander being a free agent, and no, the Chiefs are not going to go after Jerry. I mean,
no. He's under contract. We're talking about trading him.
Oh,
we got him for 3 more years. So I'm pretty sure Alexander it's either 3 or 4. I'll double check. But he's still under contract. The reason you're hearing all the rumors is because he made all the comments about Barry and said bye, but because I think he wants to get traded. I'm curious if he still does. He might not like this hire, but no, he's still under contract for, I think it's 4 more years actually.
Oh.
I'm checking right now. Okay. I'll let you know.
I was going to ask, would y'all want to go after and invest in the first 2-3 rounds with a defensive back, like safety and corner?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, and it's 3 more years. It's 3 more years. So yeah, Alexander's 3 more.
We are loaded with draft picks. Is it 7 in the first 4 rounds? I think we have 7 picks in the first 4 rounds or something like that.
I'm checking on it. It's a lot. Yeah, we have a lot of picks.
Certainly enough.
Yeah. I love what is it? Cooper DeJean from, but he's likely going to slide over to like a safety, kind of spot.
So we got
some sort of hybrid type, but
we got
loaded.
one first, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, and a fourth. So we got 6 in the first 4 rounds, and then we got a compensatory 5th for Lazard, a compensatory 6th for Reed, and then a compensatory 7th for Lowry. So we got extra. We didn't have a 5th because of a trade, so we got a 5th back, and we have 2 6s and 2 7s. So we've got 2 picks in every round, but the 4th and 5th. So they could trade up if they want to.
That's what I'm thinking. Go up and get more talent.
The guy that y'all really looking for too, use that capital as much as y'all need. Not too much, but just to make the trade that y'all know y'all can go get that player.
Yeah. And I'm
sorry, man, Steve. I owe you. Hi, Steve. What were your thoughts?
I'm just going to share. Well, actually, I'm sharing somebody else's thoughts as I have his Twitter handle here now on the screen. My co-host AJ at AJL0. I sent him a text asking him for his comment because he wouldn't be able to make the show. So I just want to read it here verbatim, his response in regards to this, because he is an OSU fan. His family from that state. He said, I missed out on that alert. I just found out. But no, it's huge. Tons of press man, fierce competitor, tons of energy. He's a dude. He gave Ohio State one of their best defenses ever. I love the hire.
All right, man. I
hope so.
That's all y'all needed. That's what y'all needed.
That's
what
So just want to share from my co-host.
Bernie
I was reading on him. So he started with the Bucks, and he spent 1 year as their secondary coach safeties, and then he helped that Tampa Bay unit in 2013. This was 11 years ago. They were 3rd in the NFL with 21 picks, and then he did it's all been secondary until he was head coach. He was the Browns secondary coach, and then he did that 49ers thing with Chip Kelly. It's just interesting because the one question mark I have is, except for being the co-defensive coordinator at Ohio State, which I really like that point, does he know run D? Because that's been our weakness. And if he doesn't, can he get a strong defensive line coach and linebackers coach? Because that's what we need. Because we also let go of our strength and conditioning coach because we had so many injuries and we were so young, which was unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
So they were like,
Yeah, man, because it's like how many times do we have to have Christian Watson out with a hamstring, dude? And it's just like when he's healthy, the offense is it goes to a whole nother level of explosiveness. But yeah, you're right there, Isaac. It would be nice to see a dude at the defensive line coach, because that's our Achilles heel is that run defense. But I like to hear that he's going to have press coverage. And, when he was a defensive back coach for the Buccaneers there, they led the NFL in interceptions. Yeah. I'd be curious to know, when's the last time
That's the guy who's responsible. Sorry to cut you off, Bernie. That's why it's going to help you out, too. The fact that he taught those Ohio State corners to get physical at like Jeff Okudah and Sean Wade and also Damon Arnett before he went, insane. Man, that's what y'all gonna love about him too. He's gonna bring more aggression for your defense, and that's gonna help y'all get back to the NFC Championship. Now, maybe it helps y'all get to that Super Bowl, man. I really think that could really be the one for y'all. Also now we got 7.
That's what's gonna decide if we elevate that high. If we're gonna make a Super Bowl, we got to get that defense back. And honestly, I'm hoping they free up enough money. I don't know if they can do it, but if they can, I'm hoping they get aggressive in free agency and go after a dude, because it's a simple analogy. There was way more to it. But when we had Favre, when he was young, went out and got Reggie White and won a Super Bowl. We almost won 2. And then they went out with Rodgers when he was young. They went out and got Charles Woodson, who was a risk. So was White, actually. They were both in their 30s. But we went out and got Charles Woodson, one of my favorite defensive players of all time, and we won that Super Bowl. There are some dudes out there this year in free agency. And I hope we get aggressive, because we do it on defense. We did it at the end of Rodgers' tenure, too. We still have Preston Smith. I'm hoping they get aggressive and go get 1 or 2 dudes, because I think it could really lift this D if this dude is it, if this DC is it. Because that's going to make all the difference. Love could be great. Our offense was 3rd in a lot of metrics over the last 8 games. it's not going to matter if our defense is trash because we're going to eventually hit a team like a Mahomes or 49ers. Got to get that defense going. That's what cost us against San Fran. If the defense had been just a little better, we would have won that game.
Yeah.
And Love at the end.
And Carlson, right?
Yeah, we're gonna. I've been like, are we gonna get rid of this?
Why are we talking about a guy who ran in the NCAA? Come on, man. Stop it.
He's doing that to me because I made all the Chargers comments.
Little brother gonna beat us. Stop it.
I made all the Chargers comments about Justin Herbert because I've been on this Justin Herbert kick because I don't think he's top 5. And we had a debate last night, and I got blasted on Twitter by all these Chargers fans, all these burner accounts coming out of the masses. It was 5 fans probably with all their burner accounts. And I was like, dude, Justin Herbert ain't not top 5. I don't care about his arm. You can't have a losing record. I don't care who your coach is. They've had players on D. Like, no, he's not. I'd rather have Stroud before I'd have Herbert. That's with me.
Absolutely.
I'll say this though. Harbaugh's the one guy. If they can, they've got a bad salary cap. So it's going to take more than a year. But Harbaugh is the one dude. Give him 3 years, the Chargers could be legit. He's the one guy that I would trust.
And they signed him for $16 million a year.
How many years they give him? 5?
Like 5-year deal for $80 million.
I mean, he earned it. Like, he almost won Super Bowl. He won the national championship.
But ran from NCAA charges like Andy Dufresne escaping and Shawshank Redemption.
Like,
come on, man. They were like the NCAA was like the warden trying to go to his cell, and then they saw he was nobody in there. They opened the hole.
That's good. I like that.
I did want to kind of go backwards a little bit in regards to since we have Bernie here and Philip for at least 4 to 6 minutes. But I at least wanted to get Bernie because Isaac kind of did already. Your thoughts on this Chiefs 49ers matchup? How do you think Philip's team's going to do in 2 weeks?
Just be honest, bro.
I think they're going to win, man. I think Chiefs are going to get this. At first when it went down, I'm going to be honest. Like once the team wins so much, Philip, I'm like ready for new blood. I'm like, but it's not my team, Right. With the 49ers, though, I've seen them, like, they've broke my heart too many times in my life in the playoffs. And so I was bitter there for a little while. And now, like, how I'm feeling about it, though, the Niners haven't won a Super Bowl in 28 years. So I'm like, there's a little part of me that's kind of rooting for Mr. Irrelevant to go win a Super Bowl. But that's my heart. My brain, though, is saying the Chiefs are going to win this game, man. It's cool. Kelsey, Kittle, we got 2 of the best tight ends in the game playing against each other. I love that. Yeah, it's part 2. It's crazy. I saw something today. It was like 4 years ago, right? It was a Chiefs-Niners Super Bowl, and it was Trump versus Biden in the election.
Yeah.
Here we are again, 4 years later. Chiefs, Niners, Trump, Biden. I'm like, what's going on? We're just living this deja vu. But and I'm thinking Chiefs are going to win again, though. So
yeah.
And like I personally like my favorite Chiefs player besides Leo Chanel because he's a Wisconsin Badger.
Yeah.
Is Isaiah
Pacheco, baby, pop.
Dude
baby.
runs
He's
with his hair on
beast.
fire. Yeah, and he runs to the fight. He's the type of guy that's going to run to the fight. He's going to run everywhere. Wherever. Was it Gump? What does Forrest Gump say? Like wherever I was going, I was running.
I'm running.
I
was running.
Yeah. So, dude, I love Pacheco, man. I got to watch him, in the Big Ten as a Rutger kid, and yeah, man. And Valdez Scantling, I still got a little love for that guy too. He had the game ceiling.
He's just catching the ball now. He's just catching the ball. He's catching the ball now.
Well, the difference was instead of having to go like this, he at least just had to go like this.
Ball on his back. 2 straight games.
They had to make it harder on him, and then he caught it. It's like, oh, that's what you got to do. Don't throw it right to his hands. Make it a little bit tough, and you'll get it.
A little bit, a little not exactly where it needs to be. Then he'll finally catch it and keep it in his hands.
Yeah. So I'm inviting friends over, and I think we're gonna do like a potluck. So like,
nice, man.
Yeah, it's just like I'll watch the game pretty close, but I'll be probably doing a lot of socializing. I was just like, I really wanted Lions Ravens. I ain't gonna lie, that's what I was pulling for.
Me too.
I do love Lamar Jackson. I feel bad for him because he keeps getting a bad rap, losing some of these playoff games. But sometimes that's what happens. You lose 5-6 times in the playoffs, and then finally you break through. I mean, like, we didn't give up on Favre right away, did we? It was like
that's
his
true.
4th or 5th playoff appearance.
My only worry is if Lamar doesn't do it soon, I'm like, is he going to get it done? Because I saw the stat on Dak. Lamar doesn't qualify because he made the conference championship this year. So I saw some on Dak, and he's had another year now, but because I think he's been 8 years in. Never had a quarterback who played 7 years, didn't make a conference championship, and was a starter, throughout most, he played most of the games. He was a starter. Never made it to it, and then, so he didn't make it in 7 years. Never has there been anybody in history that then suddenly made it. So Lamar, I'm not as worried about because he just got there, but he's got 4 years on Dak. He's 4 years younger, but I'm like starting to wonder on him. But Dak, I'm out on. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
No, I just don't. He didn't, like, we had this argument last night. He didn't show up in the first half. Yeah, his defense was terrible. He also threw a pick six that was decisive in that game. Threw 2 picks, almost threw a third in one half at home where they won 16 straight. That's a choke job. The defense was terrible too, but that was a choke job. And he's done this multiple times now. Last year, all they needed was for him to just play okay, and they probably beat San Fran. So you got to show up. Like, it's not all on the quarterback, but at some point, I got at least, if you're going to lose, go down swinging. Like Hurts in the Super Bowl last year, he went down swinging. Nobody was on him after that loss because it wasn't his fault they lost. He just lost to a better quarterback.
Right.
Yeah.
He at least performed. Dak, his stats looked great, but they was in garbage time when the pressure was off and the game was gone. So they're empty stats. That's what Dak had a lot this year, was empty stats.
Like, why do you always do this in the regular season? You show
up.
And then
every time.
Postseason,
every time.
Just, I freeze
Steve,
up.
I got a question for you. Do we have time to do a little bit of free agent targets we want in this episode? If not, I can join y'all for another one. My wife's out of town next week. We can do it next week. I don't care. I was just curious if y'all have time.
Well, I'm gonna be on for like 5 more minutes because I gotta go.
Okay.
About my friend Brad Linnencamp. But anyway,
no,
this is my thing. For example, there's one free agent I really want the Chiefs to go after, and of course we're gonna talk about wide receivers. So I'm not gonna talk about wide receivers. So besides wide receiver, I want the Chiefs to target Tyron Smith from the Cowboys.
Ooh.
I want at least a 1-2 year deal, just like what we did with Donovan Smith. Nothing against Donovan. We want to give Donovan that contract for next year based off what he's doing for us. That would be cool, but especially chemistry is always important. But Tyron Smith, though, he would come in and be a mentor for Jawan Taylor and teach him how to be a better offensive tackle, especially with all those penalties he's had all season. And then Wanye Morris, who's up and coming, who was finished as a all rookie team left tackle for Pro Football Focus, not the Pro Football Writers Association all rookie team list, but Pro Football Focus. So when you see just the potential in him, Smith could help unleash that, and everything else could happen. So that's why I want Tyron Smith, man. I mean, that would make Mahomes' life a lot more easier going into next season, and also add some little pieces there, like through the draft, like what we found in Rice last year, especially considering getting somebody to be Kelsey's eventual replacement for the next year or two. That's going to help us out. And also somebody to compliment Pacheco too, because there's one thing, though, our running backs have done well, but there's some injury problems. And part of it has been because this is the first year or first football team in the Andy Reid era without a fullback. And I feel like that's really affected our running backs. And speaking of Pacheco, Bernie, you know who Pacheco reminds me of in his journey? It's just like Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones was a 6th-round pick. And I remember I originally wanted Aaron Jones, bro. And when y'all drafted him, I said, oh, shoot, he's going to turn out to be that guy. And when I saw him, he's an all-pro, Pro Bowl running back. And I look at Pacheco the same way. It's like, We got our Aaron Jones. I'm happy. And
yeah, they run the ball like they're running for their roster spot every time they touch the ball, right? You run with that sense of urgency and that type of aggression. You can't teach that, man. That's innate. That comes installed when you're born, And those
reminds me of Marion Barber. Remember Marion Barber from the Cowboys? The way he runs. Somebody brought that up on Twitter on my show last night. I can't remember which one it was, but I saw it. I was like, yes, that's it. That is a good comparison. I hope he lasts longer because Barber just ran angry. There's some you guys like that.
Like, in the backwards, physical. Then he came out that mug. Oh my gosh, Marion Barber.
Hey,
and also
T-Mac, I got one question. I know you don't want a receiver, but if you were to get one, and I doubt that the Bengals would let this happen, what about T. Higgins? Y'all got, I'm looking right now, and I hate salary cap because I can never understand it. But it looks like y'all are going to have some space. Just a little bit.
We're expected to have, as of now, $26 to $30 million in cap space if we don't make.
I'm seeing 51 on Yahoo, but I don't know where they're getting that. And Mahomes' number is huge, so you guys have some decisions to make on.
Right.
You got the guard. You got you got some tough calls here because Kelsey, he's on his last year. I don't know. Mahomes is like.
I think he's on 2 more years. There's 2024 and then 2025. But
on Kelsey.
Yeah, Kelsey. Yeah. Now Mahomes, I'll tell you this. I think what will happen. Yeah, Mahomes might get a restructure his deal because he's willing to take that, just like what Brady did in order to build the championship team around.
I think he will.
I think MVS is a salary cap casualty.
Yeah, you got to lose that 14 mil because if you cut that, then you could go and sign Higgins or somebody. Huh?
It's actually 12 million. It's 12 million.
Oh yeah, dead cap. You'd say 12. Yeah.
Yeah, he gets 2 million dead cap, and so. But then we restructured Jawan Taylor, so that gives us a chance to bring back Snead, try to get Chris Jones to come back, depending on how that goes. And to get either Higgins or Pittman. But I would love to get T. Higgins because Jamar Chase, Mr. Anybody but the Chiefs. And no offense, Jamar, if you're watching this, Jetta's Justin Jefferson is better than you. So anyway, for you to be the teammate that you are and saying, nah, I want my money, T can go somewhere else. All right, bro.
Yeah, that's going to be tough for them because they got Mixon and Burrow getting his money now. Now, I think they're going to figure it out with Burrow, but it's going to be a different scenario. Like, I don't know if they're not going to be able to bring Mixon and Higgins back. Somebody was saying in my Packers chat to trade Chase. So I was like, here's the thing that sucks. I love Higgins, but you can't trade Chase away, in my opinion. Because look what the Chiefs did. Yes, they're in the Super Bowl again. Good for them. But they had a rough year without Hill. I know they won the Super Bowl last year, but they had some other receivers, and I'm surprised they made this run with their receivers as they are, and they may win the Super Bowl anyways. But even they know they've got to restock that cupboard. They got to. They have to. And then look at it's not just them, but look at the Packers without Adams had a bad year, and then look at, I'm thinking of another team. Oh, the Titans after they traded A.J. Brown. It doesn't always work to trade those stud receivers away. They don't grow on trees. They don't.
Now possible trade.
Now the Eagles might have to trade them because.
Yeah. Well, hey, next time I jump on here, man, I'll bring that up. But there's something I wanted to bring out before I get off here, guys. So anyway, once again, shout out to my people at the Self Advocate Coalition of Kansas, and also to my people at Chiefs Focus, my people with JP Thiz, Quentin, Brad, Keenan, and all you guys. And also, speaking of that, I wanted to let y'all know that I've officially got my very own podcast. The Chiefs Focus presents PMAC's War Room, or the War Room with PMAC, presented by Chiefs Focus. We're going to try to do it every Monday, give you guys the in-depth analysis of what we're going to try to do this offseason, and probably give us probably till April, May-ish, try to get you guys on there. We could talk about like what the Packers need to do, and how we all help out.
Hey man,
and like I told you, man, I listened to that first episode on Spotify and everything, and that was lit. Great job. Keep it going.
Can I tell you this? Thank you so much. Before I leave, it felt like when you're a rapper, like the first time you ever hear your record that you made and you put in the laboratory like Eminem, and you hear it for the first time. That's what it felt like, bro. I was like,
Isn't it feel good? You're like, I did that. I made that.
It feels weird for me
It
to read
feels
my
good.
own stuff, but it does feel good also on the other end of how good of an episode I made.
Yeah. So thank you guys again, man. And can't wait to come back on here, man. Bernie, Isaac, my homie Stevie, man. I'm gonna try to make it to one of the WWE ones, man. I just haven't happened to have time, but I've just been watching about that Mr. McMahon stuff. It's about damn time. Shoot.
Right? Overdue.
Please,
Hey,
man.
Overdue.
All that stuff he been putting on the promos. I'm sorry I gotta say it, but dude, nasty. Ew.
You're available Friday night or
my ass club.
Is it available Friday night after SmackDown or Sunday morning or Saturday morning? I mean, let me know and I'm going to be doing my review show for Royal Rumble. Just let me know in DMs.
All right.
But yeah, take care, man.
Good to see you, Philip.
Good to see
Nice
you,
to meet
Bernie,
you, man.
Isaac. Same to meet you. Good to meet you too, bro. Peace. Cheers, kid.
Final part of Chiefs Focus there. In regards to that on Twitter. Of course, at Chiefs Fan for Life.
I know that.
Chiefs Fan, the number 4 LYFE. Chiefs Fan for Life. He also is, like he said, on IG as well, with his name Philip. So definitely check him out there. His show, of course, as I just mentioned, I didn't listen to the first episode. It was awesome. Hope everybody else does. They're on Spotify otherwise for Chiefs First and 10. So Chiefs Focus First and 10. And so definitely check all that out in regards to Philip, friend of the show, and just new friend of mine in general in the last couple of months, talking Chiefs, talking football, talking WWE, and all that with him, between me and him. So, no, it's always great to have him. Maybe he'll be back in 2 weeks because this show will be taking a break next week. We'll be off. And then we'll be back for the Super Bowl review the following week after the Super Bowl. So hopefully he'll be back then. But moving forward, kind of like you were talking about, Isaac, in regards to free agency, I guess in the end of it, throw out to Bernie, kind of what Isaac was actually asking in regards to that, for our Packers, Bernie, who do you think should be our top 3 or your top 3 targets we should go after in free agency?
All right, I'm going to start. I was hoping that Philip was going to be here for this because I wouldn't mind going and getting L'Jarius Sneed. So
I would love that, man. If they're dumb enough to let him go, absolutely, he's a stud.
Yeah, and like that's
or Chris Jones.
Chris Jones, and put him on the D line. Either of those two guys, I'm all in.
I don't know how they're gonna afford him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. Right, the Chiefs can't afford everybody, right? And so, so the thing is, it's crazy because it's like before it was like the Chiefs' offense was carrying them, right? Now this defense is legit. We saw what they did to the Ravens' offense, right? So Chris Jones, but like L'Jarius Sneed, like I'd love to see him, especially like if we're talking about Jair possibly being traded, right? Why not? Why not go get L'Jarius Sneed? Another guy I wouldn't mind seeing us take a shot on if the price is right. That's Levante David from the Buccaneers.
I like it. Right? I like it.
Like if Devondre goes on, right? Like let's go find another veteran linebacker to bring in to bring to lead that linebacking core, especially if we pick up a guy or two in the draft at linebacker. You bring in Levante David. All right, that's you got your mentor then. Let's see here. Like let me think offense here. I like
Antoine Winfield too from the Bucks. We need a safety
from the Bucks. Yeah.
Only while we're on defense, I like Antoine Winfield Jr. or Chris Jones. I mean, Chris Jones. Either one of those would be studs, and I like the Levante David one too. So I hope they go for one of those guys. I just don't know how much money they're going to free up. It's hard. Like, I would love for them to go for one of those super awesome, like, money dudes. I don't know if Levante David's going to cost that much. He got benched at the end of the year, and I still think he's young. So we might be able to get him on the cheap, maybe.
Yeah, he seems like he might be one of those guys where it's just like maybe it's a chemistry or a locker room thing and it's not working out. And it doesn't seem like it's gotten like toxic and like maybe he just got benched. And like you said, we might be able to bring him in on a deal. I'm personally okay with Bakhtiari moving on from us. I'm okay with like trading him. I think he's
I'll try either one.
Either way, his head is still there. He's in the game. His heart is still there, but I don't think his knees are. His knees are done. Like, as much as I love the guy and would love to see him produce and play the way we know he can, I just think his body's done, man. Being 6'6", over 300 pounds, like, eventually you get to a point where your body just starts breaking down and just can't hold up. And I feel bad for him because I love the dude. He's great for the team. But I don't know, maybe Trent Brown from New England to bring him in at tackle. But I feel like we kind of got,
I like our tackles. That's the funny thing. We need the right tackle. I like Walker. I like Tom. And I like Jenkins. The other two positions we could fill in, but our line was solid. That's the only two. I think Walker's a mainstay. I think Jenkins is a mainstay if he can stay healthy. And I think that Tom is a mainstay. So can we fill the center and that other tackle spot? So Trent Brown might be a good choice. I like that one. I hadn't thought of Trent Brown. That's good. I like that.
Yeah. I guess.
What do you think about T. Higgins?
T. Higgins?
Do you think we need a receiver?
Do we need one? Like,
that's what I'm at. That's my thought too. I'm like, it's tough, right? Like, I like our youth, but Watson's always hurt. I really like Jaden Reed. I think he's a stud. I want to see more Wicks. I liked Bo Melton at the end of the season, and Dubs put on a show against Dallas, and he had some big games down the stretch.
Yeah.
Do we need a receiver? And then our tight ends, we got Cross and Musgrave. So I'd almost rather go get a running back than a receiver at this point.
Yeah, well, Derrick Henry.
Yeah,
would he take a deal, right?
I was like, do it. See,
right?
We can get him.
Dylan's done, right?
Jones. We could get rid of Dylan, and we could run these two old guys and go draft a running back to come up behind them and have a three-headed monster like we used to have with Dylan Williams and Jones. And Jones, I think, and Henry have enough collective between the two of them. They were still effective this year, just banged up. If we can, the two of them can carry the load and have a young dude and take the pressure off Love and defense, that would be huge.
Yeah.
That's why I think we do need to get Henry and go out and get another guard. Go and get a center. That would help our run D significantly. Or Trent Brown.
Because if Henry sees like the right deal / right like situation for him, I think he's willing to maybe take a tad less, because he's at that point in his career, right? He's made his money. Now he's looking for that ring. That's you can't blame him either, right?
He can still play too.
And he can still play, baby, right? And you just smash him.
I like it, man.
Tackles.
I like it.
Yeah. For maybe you're talking about maybe one of the guard positions, possibly Robert Hunt from the Miami Dolphins. He's a guy that started at tackle his career, but the last 3 seasons he's been playing right guard. So I don't know if you could have Jenkins and him. So you kind of got a guy that's like big IQ. He's played across the board. But no, I think we have options because we're going to have money to spend. So it's going to be exciting because it's, with money clearing up with Rodgers and you said if we cut Bakhtiari, like it's exciting. Yeah. It's an exciting offseason.
It is, but
it is.
I was just going to bring up in regards to my opinion because I want to be honest, right? So in being honest, in regard to King Henry, yeah, he's a great running back, and it seems like he's tapering off. My question was, does he have enough in the tank to be able to produce well for Green Bay and be able to make it worthwhile in getting him? Even though it'd be free agency, not a trade, so I understand it's not like we're giving a lot away. I wonder if it's beneficial in regards to
he's working out in Dallas.
So I don't know. Just my thoughts. As much as obviously he's a great running back, it just seemed like he's slowing down too. So I don't know if hopefully if he would have enough in the tank and be able to produce well, because I wouldn't want to make a decision because it is King Henry. And then in the end, we're like people wanting somebody back.
He's definitely dropped in efficiency, but it's crazy that he's still good. So in 19, he had 1,500 rushing yards, 5.1 yards a carry. The next year, with a 2,000-yard season, 5.4 yards a carry. He was effective the next year, but only played 8 games. Then just in 2022, he had another 1,500-yard season, and 4.4 yards a carry. And then they reduced his load this year, and he still averaged 4.2. So the yards per carry is starting to dip a little, but it's still efficient. And he still had almost 1,200 rushing yards this year. And it was on a terrible team, mind you. So I'm like,
Oh, right.
that was on a bad roster. He had almost 1,200 yards rushing. And yeah, he's 30, which can be a death sentence for running backs. But it's like, does he have a year or two left at close to King Henry level of play? And if you pair him with Jones, you got a thunder lightning approach.
Yeah, and
I do
agree. I just wanted to share my
do
concerns.
question that.
No,
I do.
those are
He's
valid.
30.
Those are valid concerns, man. Those are valid.
Like, how much would you pay him at this point? He's 6'3", 250. He's carried, oh my gosh, how many carries does he have? He has over 2,000 carries. He's got a lot of tread. His first 3 years, not a lot of carries. And then he amped it up and had over 300, 3 or 4 seasons, almost 400 carries 1 year. He had over 400 touches that year. That's crazy. But in 2020. But he doesn't have enough left. Like, to me, if he would take a deal in the 8 to 10 range for 2 years, I'd do it. Because I think you could extend Jones or restructure him for 1 year and make it doable. But no, I'm not signing him for like 15 mil a year. No way. Not at 30.
Way.
If he wants a ring, he's going to have to take a deal under 10 just to make it work with the salary cap, because we got to figure out J-Lo. And hopefully he doesn't want his number bumped for this season, because if he is fine with the salary cap number for this year, if you guys, I don't know if you've seen it, it's only, let me look at it again. He's only got a cap hit of 12, almost like just under 13 mil this year. That's super cheap. So he may want to bump this year. And I don't know where we're going to come up with the money outside of Campbell, because, sorry, not Campbell, outside of Dak. Because Bakhtiari's going to give us 21 mil if we cut him. And the reason I brought up Kenny Clark on Twitter, I was like, we got to figure out something. Because even though his cap hit goes down next year, it would limit our ability to go play in free agency, because he's at 27. And Alexander, if we let him go, his dead cap, we'd actually lose 3 mil. So Aaron Jones, we could save 5 mil by cutting him, but we don't want to do that. Preston Smith, we'd only save 2 mil, but we'd save it for future years. Campbell, we'd only save 3 mil. So there's not a lot of savings otherwise, unless we just push money into future years, which sucks, because next year we're going to have a ton of money. So
yeah,
it's, I don't know. This is tough. It's tough.
Yeah, but hey, well, Isaac, something else I got to tell you. I just had a baby. My wife and I just had a baby 5.5 months ago, and
nice.
They just got home, and I told Steven I got about 30 minutes tonight, because you know how long the day is at school, dude. And when I come home, like I just want to
go
hold
too.
my little guy. Yeah.
No, you're good. I gotta go too. My wife's going out of town, and I told her I was doing the show tonight too, but she's leaving Friday morning, so I want to go spend some time with her too. Because yeah, I get it.
But before we jump off, give me either who you want in the first round of the draft, or who you think it is. So either like you can go with who you want or who you think it'll be.
I haven't done my scouting yet, but I'm just gonna say position. I'm about to go into. I actually don't super follow college, but I'm about to have to, because I'm doing a mock draft special with like 8 dudes. I'm gonna say this. I'd actually prefer they do something bold and trade up and get some elite talent on defense, or do something crazy and get a receiver or something in the top 15 picks. I think that'd be more fun. I think they'll trade down, and I'd really like to get a safety, or if the position's there, an inside linebacker. I can think of positions I want. I know a few names, but I want to do my full scouting. It just sucks because these 3 receivers at the top are so freaking awesome. And this tight end, I would love to have them, even though I like our weapons. But, man, Marvin Harrison Jr. and Jude and Neighbors and Adunze, they just look special. It'd be so cool to trade up, but we'd have to move up 20 spots, so it's probably not going to happen, even though we've got 2 second-round picks. So that'd be a bold move. But no, man, I'd really like to get a difference-making safety, inside linebacker, or if we do move to a 4-3, a defensive tackle, or if there's an edge dude out there. Because as much as I like Gary and I think Van Ness is going to be special. We still need a defensive end because Wyatt hasn't panned yet. So I want to get another dude to push him in the rotation. And I've seen some edge rushers in that 25 range and 41 that are available. So I think that's the position they're going to go with, is edge.
Gotcha.
So long-winded answer, but I think that's what they're going to go with.
Yeah, I like that. For myself, I think to myself, like, Stokes is done, right? I think Eric Stokes is done.
Yeah.
We don't know about Jair going forward. So
True.
I'm going Kool-Aid McKinstry from Alabama.
Ooh.
How can you not love a dude whose name is Kool-Aid? Oh yeah.
Kool-Aid
All right.
McKinstry. I like it.
And so, yeah, man, he's from Bama. He's a dog. He's a dude. Bama plays in a pro systems. And so I just like him. And so that's who I'm hoping we go for. And I think we have a chance where he could land at us at 25. But that's my pick, man. But it's funny because, like, I can't stand Bama. I always root against Bama in college football. But then when it comes NFL draft time, I'm always like, get the guys from Bama. Get the guys from Bama. So I go from rooting against them in the games to cheering for the Packers to draft them. I hope we get Kool-Aid McKinstry. But that's who I got. Steven, you got your eyes on anyone?
No one really got in regards to name, but position, cornerback or linebacker, I would say we should go after in regards to the first round. So that'd be my answer specifically for that. But
yeah, man.
But no, I was just gonna say no. I understand you guys have to go, families and whatnot. Yeah. So we'll start with Isaac. Promote your stuff. Say any last words about the Super Bowl, the Packers, and whatnot, and go from there.
Thanks for having me on, guys. Sorry, I was kind of fired up about some Cowboys stuff, and I'll try to make my takes a little further moving forward. I'm used to my show with just one dude, one other guy. So I'll be back for Fun Football Pod. I was trying to make it Thursdays, but it's going to probably be this Friday with Bill or somebody else. I'm not sure yet. Friday night, the Fun Football Pod. I started in September. I love that show. It's my baby. It's my first show. It's always going to be there. It's probably going to move to once a week instead of twice moving forward to make room for Blitz. But Fun Football Pod, it's on Facebook. Got a Facebook page. It's on TikTok, actually. I've been making TikToks of it. Got the Twitter, and I make shorts on there, and it's on YouTube and Instagram. I don't really use the IG much, so. But I hope you all check it out. We just talk lots of football. We do a weekly pick. That's about to end, so I'll be doing various Packers free agency draft stuff for sure. I'm going to take a little 1 or 2 week hiatus after the season ends, maybe 3, and then come back for reload up for free agency and the draft. Been throwing a little NBA in it too. I might throw some more in. I'm actually a big basketball guy, so I was dabbling, starting a basketball podcast, but these shows take so much time. Like I wanted to do a movies one too, but it just takes so much time. So it's like, dang. And then my other show is When the Blitz Hits the Fan with my buddy Med from Shots on the Sideline. Another really cool show y'all should check out. I'll tell him to follow y'all. And we had a blast last night, so that was so much fun. But I also got to say, last Friday, the first show after my aunt passed away, my buddy wasn't able to do it, Bill, who's done it with me all season. His wife had a cool work promotion, and my wife stepped up and helped and did the show. And I shed some tears at the end talking about my aunt. And that was really tough, but I want to say thanks to my wife because she loves talking football, but I've drove her crazy with all this podcast stuff. So for her to step up and be like, hey, she knew I needed support on that one. And we were just having a blast because she knows her football. And it broke a record. It's at just under 2,000 views. So I got to say thank you to all the viewers for checking it out because that broke my viewing record by like almost double. So I want to say thank you to all the listeners for checking it out. And I needed that on that one. That was huge. I needed something good. So thank you. Packers, I hope that the CC is it. Because if he's not, I'm going to be so ticked because I just don't know if they made the right call. My buddy keeps messaging me about him. He's not a fan. So I hope that this guy is it because this is huge for us if we're going to take the next step as a contender. So, yeah.
And Bernie, let people know where they can find you on social media, shows, and otherwise.
All right, you can find me on X at Bernie Bango. You can also find Steven, the show that Steven helps me out so much with. That's at Big Cheese _IESR. Big Cheese is a reference to the fantastic state of Wisconsin. We talk all Wisconsin sports there at the college and pro levels. And then you can find me on Instagram at Bernie.bango. And then you can find me on TikTok at Bernie_bango, I believe. I hope I got those right.
Nope.
Come find me. Otherwise, just search Bernie Bango. I'm the one and only, I believe. Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having me on tonight, Stephen. Isaac, fantastic meeting you. I think when we get closer to that draft, Stephen and I would love to have you on Big Cheese Sports and talk Packers draft, baby. I love your knowledge. Man. I love that you're a teacher, dude. We got to have each other's backs, man. So
thanks, man.
Have you on Big Cheese and talk draft here soon.
That'd be great. I'd love to have y'all in mind too. I think our mock draft on Blitz is pretty much. We're at like 8 guys already, and I don't think we don't want to get it. Like we've got it. That was cool, but I want to bring people on for Packers stuff on mine. So I'd love to have y'all on because I'm going to hit Packers free agency and draft. So right. I'd love to have all y'all on mine too. That'd be cool.
We'd love to be there. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Yeah. It's fun. My dad may join us too. He's a huge Packers fan too.
Awesome.
I'm going to get him on. So I'll probably bring him on with the episode with y'all. I think you guys will have fun.
Can't wait.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. This was awesome.
All right, fellas.
All right, guys. Peace. Have a good evening.
See you guys. Thanks, Steve.
You're welcome. But yeah, everybody on. It's always fun to have co-hosts. Well, have co-hosts plus having guests and having these great guests that we're on. I do thank them all. Also, not only are they friends of mine here in the podcasting world, I also help Bernie Bango on his show. Again, I am the co-host. He is the host. Sorry if I misspoke earlier. I'm just used to being host of many things. But he is the host of that show. Part of the IE Sports family that he is part of. They're your direct feed for all that is sports. IE Sports Radio, Big Cheese Sports on IE Sports Radio. But I am the co-host, and I'm happy to help, and I am happy to be part of his show each and every week on Sunday mornings. Again, Sunday mornings. ¿Sí, y 3. O 4. Yeah. But either way, Sunday mornings, 11 a.m. Central, Big Cheese Sports. There we go live now on YouTube here through using StreamYard. He also is part of a show called Game On, or part of Game On Wisconsin with their She Said Till I'm Dead show. So they have that Twitter handle, Game On Wisconsin has a handle as well. But also Isaac, I misspoke. When the Blitz hits the fan, that also does have a YouTube channel, just no videos yet because they're just starting. He is in his endeavor in the second show, but his main show, Fun Football Pod, is there indeed. So it was great having all of them on. Like I said, others that are watching, otherwise, welcome to join if you want to. I don't mind sending a link to other people. But then again, I've done this by myself for like 3 years now before having an actual co-host that I had all this season. That's why this season I was finally able to, in regards to wanting to, be on Spotify. I don't know why I can't think of it. It's the only other place it goes to. But the audio version going to Spotify because I could have a show that deserves or is deserving, has a right to be on Spotify, as I call it. Yes, I've been doing it for many years. I work hard and done it all by myself. But I'm going to be honest, though. There's been many episodes, but not even full seasons, unfortunately, where they're just, we're going to say, quote unquote, bad. Ones that I didn't want to, move over to Spotify when I could have done the whole process of getting the audio and all that. But I just did catch up in regards to, I was catching up in regards to this season. So I have the very first episode from this season. That was the preview, my predictions. You'll hear my Giants versus Jets take back then for the Super Bowl. So that was a real thing. And other things and other episodes. So I hope you all hopefully check that out. Beyond checking out the great content that my guests have, and they keep doing. They're on the accord, of course. And awesome, like I said, world's a small place in a way, right? And the two teachers running into each other, and then Philip, sharing his personal business. That I'm very honored that he shared because he didn't have to. Any of them didn't have to, and I appreciate them sharing that, and then I shared mine, in respecting difference to them and wanted to share my side of things. So I appreciate them all, and I thank them all for being the great men and people that they are. But like I said, it's going to be a fun season next season, right? This is not the last episode, but we will be taking a break. Then after the Super Bowl on February 11th, we'll be coming back the next Wednesday, right? Super Bowl February 11th, Sunday. So the next Wednesday after February 11th, if I can speak, we'll be having our final episode of the season for this season. That will be the Super Bowl review. So maybe I'll have some guests that were supposed to make it tonight make it then. But they just had stuff going on tonight that they weren't able to make it, which, trust me, is what I heard from them. Focus on that. And I look forward to having them maybe on in 2 weeks to review said game. Because let's just say 2 of them are Chiefs fans, and one of them works closely with Philip on YouTube and otherwise. So we'll just use those teases for them, and hopefully maybe they'll be able to make it, and that'd be awesome. Have some other people, maybe Foster, is a Chicago Bear fan, also from Bears Country Pod, and PSF. But no, it was interesting, championship weekend, right? The Lions and the Ravens should have won in their games in a way, but in the end they didn't. So, well, stuff. Also, we're coming down to the end in regards to our prediction battle that I do with Bernie and some other cool dudes. That next year Mary will be part of because she's a co-host. She's been ill for the last week or so. But she'll be joining with that, and also we'll have Philip part of that, even though he's not on the show. Obviously, he has his own stuff to do. But he said he's interested to be part of the predictions battle next season. And all I say in return for him is, hey, as long as you can be on one episode at all during next season, whether it's week 1, heading into week 1, or heading into week 16, or whatever week, heading into said week, and give your predictions once on air. That's fine, But anyways, yeah. I was gonna say something else. I don't remember because I'm always thinking, right? The mind is always going. It's not a bad thing. It's an interesting thing, isn't it? But what was the conference championship games? The Chiefs over the Ravens, 17-10. The 49ers over the Lions, 34-31. There, yeah, the Lions could have had it. Ravens could have had it. Situation. The Lions, I don't know. But now we have the Super Bowl. That will be Sunday, February 11th, starting at 5:30 p.m. Central. They're in Vegas, home of the Raiders. So something would be interesting. This weekend, actually, technically, the Pro Bowl games, but we don't need to review or preview that, right? But we wanted to do our Super Bowl predictions a little bit early than I usually do for each of my seasons for this podcast. But yeah, for me, I'm predicting. What am I going to be predicting for the Super Bowl? I'm kind of like Bernie, the head and the heart, thinking different things. My heart wanting to say the 49ers, because if you're going to be the Packers, you might as well be the Super Bowl champions. But again, Philip's an awesome dude. So is JP and the crew there, Chiefs Focus. Well, I'm just going to be honest with this one. I'm going to predict the 49ers over the Chiefs. It's going to be my official prediction. It's going to be the San Francisco 49ers. Bernie went with the Chiefs. Again, with our prediction battle, it's 10 points. So someone can win and all that blah, blah, blah stuff for the predictions. They're at talking_Packers on Twitter. If you can scroll down, you'll see our updated record for the season. We're all 4 of us. But my prediction is going to be the SF Niners, the 49ers, Brock Purdy, Super Bowl MVP. Not even Christian McCaffrey. Like, he'll do his stuff, but I think Brock is going to be the MVP. He might even have that WWE 49er belt with him. I have the Niners over the Chiefs 23-21. So that's what I'm going. But either way, it's going to be a fun game. That's for gosh darn sure. And I look forward to the game that it is. I don't think I'll be having any other people on tonight. Let me check here and see if anybody else is available from a group chat that I run, that I call the Green Room in regard to guests and my co-host. Thank you all, though, that watch live. I think we got up to 6 or 8 live here, whether it's from here, from YouTube, from Facebook. Otherwise, greatly appreciated. And for those in the chat, like Justin, Terry Thomas, Mario, and, of course, Bernie Bango himself that was on air posting a comment. Thank you to all. Thank you, everybody that subscribed. If you're not subscribed yet, more than welcome to subscribe. Ring the bell. It takes about 2 full seconds to do both. Also, welcome to follow and ring the bell as it is on Spotify, I guess. Though unlike YouTube, you don't see who's the ones that are subscribing or following, but you just see on my RSS feed in regard to analytics. So there are some concurrent viewership. So that's awesome. But yeah, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be fun. It's always awesome. But anyways, since I keep talking in circles, let me promote my own stuff because I have enough stuff to say. Sorry. Let's start from the top to the bottom. For my wrestling show, you can find me at the Ramble _ WWE. For the network itself, at Sports Talk Network, written up there, SPORTSTLKNTW_06. For those viewing or listening with the ears on Spotify. Talking _Packers for the podcast Twitter handle. And my personal handle on Twitter is Army_Strong_06. You can find me on 2 places now on Instagram, and technically have for a couple years now. Packer Mania _06 for the show. Again, Packer, not Packers, Packer Mania, like Hulkamania. Packer Mania _06. And then you can find my personal handle over there on Instagram at Steven, STEVEN, Steven with the V, K _06. Again, I'm only saying this slowly in regards to the audio listeners on Spotify. So I don't mean to say that doing it disrespectfully. Snapchat at sports_guy06. Find me on the TikTok, Stevie K _06. As I said earlier when I was sharing his statement in regards to our new DC, AJ, student in Tampa Bay, Florida, family from the Ohio State. AJ Eller 0. Find him there. My co-host for the wrestling show is Rachel Z. Emily. There, and of course I have my. I should have added this here as well. My co-host, my second co-host now that I have. I memorized her Twitter handle, not because I use it so often, because sometimes I have to search it, even if we follow each other. But Mary, at Mary 90118710, her favorite Packers. Yeah, you can find her, find everybody else. But I thank everybody that watched live, whether it was here on YouTube, whether on X, formerly known as Twitter, or if you're watching live on the Talking Packers with Steve Facebook fan group. If you're on Facebook, you're welcome to send me a friend request for me, Steve. Let alone follow the show itself if you want to. Either way, I appreciate everybody. That's why I want to build a community here, just like everybody does in their YouTube podcasting careers. We love ball. We enjoy talking about it. We're knowledgeable, as you saw, from Isaac and Bernie and others, and Philip. So I definitely look forward to speaking with them more and just speaking with people. I love you all, indeed. But anyways, hope you all have a great rest of your weekend or evening. Rest of your week, your weekend. Whether you watch the Pro Bowl or not, there is college basketball, NBA stuff going on, other sports. We're on the road to March Madness, just as much as we are on the road to WrestleMania and WWE. But I look forward to seeing you guys again in 2 weeks. I will be off next week for the show. I got stuff going on, and I know AJ has school, and Mary still getting over a cold. So I'll be back in 2 weeks to review said Super Bowl. If you're watching here at the end and you want to watch the whole thing, again, you can watch it when it's posted on YouTube, Sports Talk Network. My link is in all those Twitter handles I shared. Or you can listen to audio when that probably drops at 11 p.m. or midnight. Who knows? Sometimes it's short, sometimes it's long. And that's me uploading it literally minutes after I'm done here. Downloading the audio and then putting an RSS feed and all that. And then it'll go over to Spotify. Anyways, above all else, as always, take care.